Hello, welcome back to Annie Creativity and part two of working on Inchies. So these are some of the Inchies I've been working on prior. I'm putting them up top so I can just kind of see them so they don't get lost. And I'm whipping out some of the bases that I made. I had to record it this way with voiceover because I was currently I was watching and listening to stuff that would pick up on the video, so I figured a voiceover would be better. I'm just kind of trying to get settled here and sort in. As you recall, I did make the eye inchy on the last one. And then there was some that I was considering, but didn't have the words or didn't have everything needed to finish them. So I said I would revisit here. I do revisit some of them, but I put others aside and create new ones as well. So I do start working on that scallop edge punch out that I have. I really like the design, so I was like, I'm gonna put this on my purple base, and I started working on that, and I found a purple cat, so I thought that worked perfectly. I was putting it on, and I was looking at it, and even though they kind of work color wise, it just still felt too plain for me. So I go back on and try to edit that post gluing, which is a little complicated because you gotta be careful not to ruin the image. And if I were to do this again, I would probably design the scallop edge and not leave it blank or white, and then glue it down once I have it and I'm happy with it. So here I am cutting down some of my inchies down to size because apparently I suck at measuring, and I measured from the tip of the ruler, which was not where it really started, which made them just a little bit bigger than they needed to be. So I take the ones that measure the true inch and started to adjust all of them to that size. As you can see, I got some focal images down on some of them. This one was really good. I had to find a way of covering his hair though. His hair goes in a straight line. So I was like, I had to be creative and put some things on top so that it wouldn't be so obvious that his hair was cut in half. And I just wanted to bring back some of those blue and purple elements here. So I took some Sharpies and kind of played around with designing just to bring back that playful colors. I also edged it in that burgundy purple color. So I think it looks nice, but it still needs a little something, so I go back to it. Here I'm cutting down some words I just like the font of it. So I was cutting down a couple words from that quote on the magazine in this font where it's dark and has the white coloring in a block form. I also made it easier for me to trim it down and still look really nice. think the biggest problem when working on this batch of Inchies was trying to find the words to match it. And I was kind of tired working on these things, so I was going through magazines, but my eyes were not focusing on anything interesting. So that part of it was a little difficult for me this time around, trying to find the words to match it, to bring it all together. I was good with the focal image, I was good with designing the background, but bringing that final word, and I'm sure they probably all don't need words, but I just like the idea of having the focal with the word on it in sheet. I think it just brings it out more. So I did another one here with the beauty. It was a simple one. So I went back to the previous one and decided it needed a little bit more to cover and make it pop. So I added a little embellishment on the side, a little magazine cutout. And I think that brought it all together. Unfortunately, as I was doing these, I thought I was in frame, and some of this work has been done off frame, so I do apologize for that. But you can see it when I put it up higher, what I'm coming up with. So here I found the words true self, and I thought that was perfect for this, so that Inchie is now finished. So I put the words on this one before I go back to it, because I'm thinking maybe the words will make it complete. I just don't like all that white space behind the cat. Even try to add a few punch outs of different painted papers, but still it just feels like it's missing something. Finally, I decide it needs to get rid of that color, so I take some pink acrylic and go around trying to fill it in. And it does help a little bit at first, but ultimately I wouldn't have done this again. I think that because I had to work around the glued images, it just was sloppy and not as even. Plus, I don't know if the color was bright pink enough to match with the purple. So on top, you can see between the beauty and the previous eye one, the really tiny one, there's one in the middle with a blue figure and it says dreams. That one I completed off screen. So I need to find a way of organizing my small images from my tiny images in this little container that I'm using, because I do want to keep them together, but I want to be able to grab my tiny ones when I'm working on an Inchie and not have to sort through all the bigger ones. So I'm thinking I might have to put like a small mini tray. I just haven't found one that would quite fit that size because it's very narrow. But I'm thinking I'm gonna have to put something in there just to separate them. So it's easier when I'm working on my inchies to find what I'm looking for. So I'm creating two of them here, the cuisine pot of food right there, and I'm also working on a flower one, which I don't do much to because the background and the focal kind of blend together. Maybe I shouldn't have one that blends so perfectly, but it didn't bother me, so I left it that way and just put a word on there. Sometimes even the simple stuff with inchies can look nice. Like you don't have to do much to kind of take it to that level. So I'm just edging. And I put the word on there, optimism. I don't know, I just felt that fit the image for some reason. That's the word that kind of spoke to me, so. I was able to find some other words that I had printed prior, so I am drawing some black blocked out frame for it so that I can cut it much shorter and it to be already edged, so that way when I put it on the inchie it pops. So here I finished the one with the balloon called Moving On, and it has like a bit of map in the background. As you can see, having to search through all that kind of slows me down a bit, so I definitely do have to come up with a new strategy. So here I'm just edging the map a little bit, so it just lost some of the edge when I cut it out. And then I'm edging some of the words here, just to make it pop out and stand out from the background. Here I'm doing a little bit of off-camera work here on this inchie here. So what I'm doing is, it's another eye one. If you don't notice by now, and you follow my channel, you'll realize that I do have a fascination with eyes. So they will find their way in my art plenty. So here I am going in and trying to add doodles and stuff to that cat Inchie, because I just am unhappy with the way the paint looks on its own. And in my attempts to try to do something, I still don't like it. I tried to add color afterwards and I still don't like it. So I can say this one's probably my least favorite Inchie. And I apologize ahead of time that this video is going to be a little long. I on the video player that I'm using to edit, it only allows me to speed it up 2 points. So I have it sped up, but I could probably have benefit from it to be sped up a little bit more, because there is a lot of lulls in my creating, where I am looking for things. So I go and revisit the moving on Inchi, and I decided just the balloon itself wasn't enough for me, and I found this cute little airplane. I just thought both of those like made it work better, so I added the airplane to the side of the balloon. I figured I need something above the pop because it was just too plain, so I found these stars with pink on them, so I just threw the stars on top. Here I'm just grouping all the ones that I completed in this one. While I'm still trying to find ones that I can finish and add to my done pile. I was happy that I got a lot of these Inchies completed. There's some that I still are practically done, but need one thing. But for the most part, getting a lot of these done, I have like 7 or so done at this point. I think that's a pretty good feat. I feel like I accomplished enough, and I have a couple really nice ones there. So again, here I'm just trying to see if there's anything that just needs one final thing that I can just finish here. And I am also going through and making sure I have all the images and stuff that I wanted to use, and there's nothing else that I can do at this point. I'm probably also doing some off camera trimming of some of the things as well. So unfortunately that's not on camera. So I'm doing this editing on my phone using an app. Currently open to any suggestions of apps that work better than the one I'm currently using, because I think I need an upgrade. So if you are doing video editing on an app, I have a Samsung phone, so please leave your recommendations below in the comments. So I was able to complete one other Inchie here, adding the word shattered. So here I'm going to give you a close-up view of the Inchies. If there's any one you'd like to see a closer view of, let me know and I'll leave a picture. Thank you for watching.